All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is General Greene. It is the Ides of March, and quick update here on St. Paddy's Day. We are, of course, poised with an intentional, pre-planned, designed dollar collapse of fiat, not just in the United States, but in the westernized world. I'm here to break all this down and a whole lot more and give you the key critical insight that you're going to need heading into this election cycle, which is going to be very contentious. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit about this upcoming Civil War movie that, by the way, has been produced by a Brit. And I find that very, very interesting that it's an outside invader, a British gentleman who is actually behind the movie set to destabilize the USA ideologically, which I think is why they're releasing the movie in and around tax day. I think it comes out April 12th or something like that, if I remember correctly. So please like and share this video. It, of course, is key to your financial health, your spiritual health, your well-being, your survival. And again, the point of my channel is that you 1000x yourself during these trying times. Now, keep in mind, I did predict the invasion and attack, which is a terrible, terrible event, of course, that I do not condone on Israel from this very balcony right here. I am, of course, in Oahu, Booyah, Honolulu, Waikiki, Booyah, the famous surf spot is right just below me. I'll show you some of those images in a minute. And I remember when I shot that video, everyone told me, General, this sounds extremist, doesn't sound like it's gonna happen, go to bed, go get some sleep. Well, the next day, Israel was attacked tragically by Hamas and outside forces. They flew kites in. They were proven that not only did Benjamin Netanyahu obviously stand down, but it was very easy to penetrate the IDF in that multi-billion-dollar operation, probably because they wanted to. I mean, these were Kmart kites. It was basically like flying in on your underwear. I mean, it was that lame, and Netanyahu couldn't do anything to stop it, supposedly, even though he had preemptive motive, as we all know, because he's very unpopular in Israel. The political system wants him out. He's been embroiled with not just political attacks, but charges of corruption, etc. And so it was very convenient timing to stand down, to have the event, right? Now, of course, all of these events, which have been pre-planned and engineered by U.S. intelligence agencies from the beginning, are leading us down the path of what I had warned would be World War III. It was the U.S. government, through its intelligence apparatus, that seized and overthrew the Yanukovych government years ago in Ukraine, that destabilized the Russian-friendly leadership, that only caused Vladimir Putin to react from NATO's encroachment, of which they promised that they would not do post-World War II, which is now why Ukraine is the proxy war that I warned about, and I predicted the invasion as a result of that destabilizing effect would result in World War III in the Middle East and Israel, now which the United States is about to send troops along with Macron the Mark out of France, who has warned of sending tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of NATO troops into Ukraine. And this is very scary because I don't believe that Putin is bluffing here. I do believe that Putin, either that or it will be staged, will use some kind of tactical event, probably staged by European nations that would have incentive to have a heinous act, God forbid, like that happen, something tactical that they can then create fear in the media to sell people on more tyranny, more surveillance, the dollar collapse, the reset, etc. So as the title of this video explains, we are truly living through the collapse of the Roman Empire, and it's what they want, just like they cut down the denarius by removing the metal that was contained in their actual currency itself. You know, it used to be it was 100% silver, then it was 80% silver, then it went down to 70 and 50 to 10 to nothing. And then, of course, Rome collapsed into the Dark Ages as a result of the same failures that the United States is dealing with today. But we must understand that the direct culprit of this is the central bank and the Federal Reserve System, which intends to not just overthrow, in my opinion, the sovereignty of the West, but to destroy our currency. And this is exactly what their game plan is. See, they have to destroy to create anew. They have to get rid of and expunge before they can reset the system. And so We're going to go over all this and more. I'm going to talk about crypto as well. I did want to bring up a really big report that I think a lot of you probably missed here on the Ides of March, just 2 days past here on March 17. And that is, it just came out in the press. And of course, I've been way ahead of this. I told you this from the very beginning. A lot of people don't believe me. But Elon Musk is heavily in bed with the deep state. His company now, Starlink, along with SpaceX and now Starshield, it is coming out with full concrete proof. These are just facts, whether or not you like the facts or not, or agree with me or not. These are just the hard-hitting and in-your-face facts. Is actually responsible for building Starshield, which is a U.S. government apparatus to surveil every American citizen in every form of life, actually worldwide. And so he just signed a massive, and this has been in the works for a very long time, multi-billion-dollar contract with the Pentagon and the deep state to do just this, to basically embed himself in the military-industrial complex with massive surveillance, of which they say on CNBC.com, you can't hide anywhere in the world. SpaceX is reportedly building a network of spy satellites for U.S. intelligence agencies. Elon Musk, SpaceX building spy satellite network for the U.S. Exclusive, Musk's SpaceX is building a spy satellite for the U.S. intelligence agency. So I just want you to keep this in mind. I told you why he bought Twitter. Surveillance and intelligence for the future mark of the beast, and the implantation of what it warns about in the Bible, microchips into the cerebral cortex through his company Neuralink. So if he's doing this with his spy satellites and SpaceX and the fake NASA, which he overtook, imagine what he's doing with your Twitter data. Now X, check out a little sailboat right there. Imagine what he's doing with the spy surveillance system. So this whole idea that the government doesn't like Elon Musk, or that Elon Musk is fighting the deep state, is laughable and erroneous. Because if the government and the Pentagon and intelligence agencies didn't like Musk, and he was really truthfully under attack, they wouldn't fund him. I mean, that's like saying that the government doesn't like him, but the government's in bed with him and is paying his utility bills. It is like literally in contracts and negotiations funding this guy billions and billions of dollars while he's saying that he's like a freedom fighter. So I don't know about you. I don't have any contracts with spy agencies. I don't have any contracts with U.S. intelligence agencies like Musk. I don't have any Pentagon billions of dollars worth of money, flowing into my companies because I'm real and legit. Elon Musk isn't. And I know it's difficult for Americans to understand this, but I just wanted to prove that point. Go look it up for yourself. Look up Starshield and look up the latest briefing of Elon Musk spying on American citizens, which is completely anti-freedom. It is completely anti-liberty, and it goes against everything he tells us on a daily basis. Look at people's actions, not their words, to prove who they really are and who they're working with. Also wanted to comment on this. It's kind of a big conspiracy. I don't normally cover topics with the monarchy, I guess it is, but Kate Middleton is nowhere to be found. I don't know if you've been following this, but many believe that they're covering up where she is. That Kate Middleton may have in fact even passed in recent days. I don't know if you've heard this or not. She supposedly had abdominal surgery, but she hasn't been seen since. There's also been speculation that she could be bulimic or have some kind of eating disorder, which we'll pray if that is the case with her. If we pray that, she's still with us because she hasn't shown her face in many, many weeks now, that she could have been having surgery for something like that as well. But it appears that there's some kind of massive cover-up going on across the pond, which I find very, very peculiar. I have had my eye on that as well. I wanted to mention that to you. Now let's also cover crypto here for a minute. I told you to buy the dip. My number one pick, Tezos, XTZ tell you Bezos. Tezos tell you Bezos, my number one pick. I've been buying more in recent days. We saw Bitcoin symbolically on CNBC.com. I'll show you this on my phone because I tweeted it. Its intraday low was 66,666.16. And I even took a snapshot of this at a friend of mine. You know who you are, send this to me as well. We both noticed the same thing about around the same time. People were asking me what was the significance because Bitcoin did trade a little bit lower that in a capitulatory moment of which I told you to buy. But you can see CNBC.com put the day low of 66,666.16. And so in my opinion, and I believe this to be the case because I was the guy throwing chairs in the pool December 2022, telling you to buy Bitcoin at 16,666, we have since 6x'd from that. And I believe what we saw yesterday with this symbology tells us that was the short-term bottom before we crushed through 100, 150K. The bull market hasn't even started yet. No one has laser eyes on. Tom Brady still doesn't have his laser eyes on. Not until he's announcing fresh new partnerships with this scam that was Sam Bankman-Fried, who I always told you was a scam, deep state assets, second largest donor to George Soros, to the Democratic DNC party. Not until you see Tom Brady back with his laser eyes on, flashing those red lights, and not until you see him announce a new partnership, maybe with FTX again, do I think we have the top. We are nowhere near the top in crypto. And what's very exciting about this is we're now getting a rotation into my number one top pick, XTZ, which is up 5% today, which I believe not only is my price target 16 to 20 plus dollars, but I believe we'll be trading $2 to $3 probably within the next week or so. Because the smart money is selling Bitcoin. Remember, I told you, take some profits in Bitcoin, 25%, deploy it into real assets like islandproject.com, and then buy and rotate into number one layer ones like XTZ as a part of alt season. So we're now entering alt season. I also want to comment on the state of the economy, which is absolute dog crap. It's a turd. The worst we've ever seen. We're now seeing Wall Street do exactly what I said that it would do post the lockdowns. Remember, I told you not to comply, don't listen to anything that they said, resist. I told you all to do that. I said, there's going to be toilet paper runs, total pandemonium and hysteria. A lot of people didn't believe me. And then we saw the total panic, financial meltdown, followed by bailouts. Well, we're now seeing what I also predicted was once the elites got you right where they wanted, once they created all the hyperinflation and the debt, which was all intentional and by design, then they'd start firing all of you. So we're seeing this on Wall Street. All the banks are firing their employees. Big tech is firing their employees. The big significant seven, the Googles, the Amazons, etc., are now firing everyone across the board. We're seeing a lot of technical engineers let go. We're seeing traditional programmers who were, earning incomes of 200K plus a year also being fired because they no longer need you. See, this was all about a systematic rollout to transfer all the world's resources to themselves, to extract and extort all the wealth so that they could get their greedy hands on it. After they had completed that task, which they've largely done, then they would reset the system, fire everybody, and put everybody on peasantry income as America collapsed. Now, let's talk about that movie Civil War that's coming out. Not only was it put out by a British director, I believe it's much psychological propaganda. They want the American people that have been brainwashed as zombies, as we see here in the United States, doing anything that they're told, believing anything they're told by the government and also the mainstream media. Again, do not comply. I know you are the resistance tuning in, so my hat is equivalently off to all of you. But they want people to play this out in their minds. See, in my opinion, there's not going to be a real civil war. It's all just a fiction. It's all a part of the psyop and the operation and the brainwashing that's being rolled out by the elites at a very, very high level. So the American people can act out through their mind and entertainment what a civil war would look like without actually standing up for themselves and fighting for the tenets and principles that make America, or once did, so great. It's now circling the toilet bowl. It's, basically the currency's worthless. America is officially collapsed and it's completely divided. But my argument would be if we were ever going to have a civil war, we already would have had one because they already stole your freedom and liberty in 2020. Now they've stolen all of your wealth. So if you haven't reacted yet, if you haven't voted with your wallet and deployed all of your hard-earned money into the digital Noah's Ark islandproject.com, I don't know what you're doing. You're probably not going to act. You're probably just going to allow these people to have their way with you, and you'll be on the receiving end of the new feudal society that makes up the collapsing United States, universal basic income, UBI, and of course a whole heck of a lot less freedom. They do need a war. And you must understand this is why they have crafted the biblical World War III in Israel. They are going to need a world conflict to pull the wool over people's eyes to take out the rest of free society. And you must understand this, and this is why I've predicted, and I'm still predicting, that there's going to be a tactical nuke event, God forbid, in Europe. And it is only going to be an event to create enough fear so the mainstream media and politicians and global governments can have their way with you. That's the only point of having the event. You see, the elites also want to preserve this beautiful planet for themselves. They just want to steal all your money and wealth and control you. That's their goal. It's not necessarily destruction of land or actual property. It's to remove your rights, remove your freedom, and remove your wealth. And the easier that they can do that, the more easily they can do that through fourth, fifth generation warfare, which is propaganda and mainstream media, and it's also psyops, and it's the utilization of space war technologies, lasers, and the massive surveillance grid that you can now thank Elon Musk for putting up in your skies, so every American can be tracked. Their faces can be scanned supposedly from the skies. They can shut off your internet. They can, of course, put you in a self-driving, self-locking, could take you right off a cliff, in a Tesla, which I'm not sure if you know this, actually puts out more carbon emissions because of the weights of Teslas and the burning of the CO2. Electric cars run through tires almost 2 to 3 times a normal gas-guzzling F-250 because of their weight. And not only does it create a lot of carbon emission developing the batteries and all of the materials that are needed to go inside of them, but also Teslas are known, and these new electric cars, of emitting massive amounts of cancerous radiation while you're driving them around. I would never own a Tesla. I would never buy a Tesla. I think their cars suck. I would never get into a self-driving car that could drive me, a conservative Christian white Republican male, off a cliff just because it didn't like me. Again, I mean, I saw this in Maui when the fires erupted. My gas guzzlers were the only things that I could actually drive during the emergency. All the Teslas were vacant, sitting in people's driveways as their homes were lit on fire because, of course, they take electricity. And mine took gasoline, and they were also mine aren't self-driving. I can actually drive them myself in an emergency. In fact, the survivors that survived the Maui emergency actually had to disobey the authorities, blast through gates with their pickup trucks to safety. Because I told you this story, I think you guys all heard it before, but the authorities were actually locking people in where the fire was and told you not to leave. So again, you can't trust your government, you can't trust the authorities at all. Now they're clipping your coins to zero in a massive hyperinflationary collapse, of which they're going to, in my opinion, steal your 401k accounts, your Roth IRAs, your retirement accounts, everything I've been saying for years now, through an engineered hyperinflationary collapse. I see I have 666 people in the room, which tells me, all glory to God, I'm right on target about what I'm saying right now. I mean, guys, like absolutely insane. Not only do I have rainbows behind me, the general, on a daily basis, but I'm telling you right now, so position to lever yourself and profit. Again, you should be buying more crypto here. You should be doubling down, tripling down into XTZ Tezos, my #1 pick. And I'm expecting a major event as we close out the end of the month. Again, what are the goals of the elites? Steal all your money and take control of your life. That's their goal. That doesn't mean that there's going to be full-blown nuclear war that destroys the entire planet. They don't want that. They just want to control the world's best asset and resource for themselves, which is why monopolistic oligarchs like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and others have been allowed to take over the world and deeply embed themselves with DARPA and the deep state apparatus through contractual, contracts, through various money schemes. Many of you know, of course, Amazon does huge business with the CIA. It was one of its first contracts, Facebook, etc. That was all stemming from InQtel and the hedge fund intelligence agencies' arms that funded that, again, you don't become an oligarch. You don't become the world's richest person on the planet if you're not one of them. It's just basic economics 101. And it's how America has sold itself out to the highest bidder, and it's now why America is collapsing. The other, big light bulb flash moment a lot of you, I think, should consider is that, how they tell us there's different countries and, there's, different countries in Europe and America is its own country. Really, everyone's working together. See, once you really understand who's in control, how the global elites truly function, you'll realize that there's a big argument that the United States of America actually never left Great Britain, that we never even left the monarchy. That's why after, the revolution, what did they start doing? I look at the tax situation now. Taxes are out of control. If America actually stood for what it founded itself supposedly for, there'd be no taxes. But the average American, especially if you're in the highest earning income bracket, pays 50-60% of his net worth to the government, while the oligarchists like Bezos, etc., pay zero. Again, I hope you're paying attention to how things really work. Now, what does the general want for all of you? I want your success. I want your freedom. I actually want your true glory in Jesus Christ. I want you to be the best that you possibly can be. I want you to fight back peacefully, and I want you to get ahead, of course, on this beautiful Sunday booyah. I'll just end with this view today. Take your action today. Get into islandproject.com. Own properties like this with no bank debt during hyperinflation and economic collapse. Again, all of our properties are skyrocketing in value because they're not making any more of it. They're intentionally debasing the US dollar and its currency, and so all the smart money is flowing into cash flow assets like this. It's why our properties have tripled in Maui, they've tripled in Oahu. Booyah. I'm about to purchase property 4, 5, and 6, and this just gives you an idea of some of the beautiful locations that islandproject.com owns. Please give my dad a call. You should be DCAing. That means dollar cost averaging your first 30 units or more into the project. I've had multiple Diamond Nuts millionaires move into the 1,000 units category as a part of islandproject.com in recent days. Again, my hat's off to all of you here at the Digital Noah's Ark. Please call or text my team. That's Papa John at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934, and you can fill and fund. See if you qualify. You do not have to be an accredited investor, not financial advice, of course. I have to say that. And get in now while you still can. Because as things get worse, you want to be decentralized and you want your money in a private asset you control here with the General as a part of our world-class properties that you can actually stay at. I mean, that's what's so amazing about it too. You can actually stay at the properties. We open them up about 25% a year exclusively for members, so you don't have to waste your money at one of these hotels at $1,000 a night where you never get something back in return. See, our investment is so great because not only do you own it, you can touch it, you can stay at it, you get cash flows at the end of the year, capital appreciation, liquidity, and I'm also tokenizing it on a multi-billion-dollar 1,000x blockchain as soon as Bitcoin breaks a new all-time high in 2024. I think we'll see 150K real soon. XTZ will be at $16 to $20 imminently, and I believe in the coming days we'll see $2 to $3 as the money rotates into altcoin season into XTZ. So Tezos until you Bezos. I love all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day on this St. Patty's Day from General Greene, who's always wearing green because it's my freaking last name. Shout out to my forefathers and the rest of my family. Nathaniel Greene, who of course was second in command to George Washington himself, and all of my great family tree that fought for the resistance here in America, 1776, and lives and breathes today, not only in my beautiful soul, but the soul of you and our forefathers and my father, Papa John Greene, Diamond Nuts Sr., building the Digital Noah's Ark. Also want to send a brief prayer. You know who you are. There's a member of my world-class investors who did get a cancer diagnosis recently. I just want you to know that I have been praying for you ceaselessly every single day. You've been on my heart and mind. We're here for you. We're here to help you. Let us know if we can do anything. You are a part of our immediate family, and Ohana, as a member investor here at islandproject.com, we stick together, and I want you to know we love you. We've been praying for you, with you daily, and God bless you. Please stay strong. We love you tremendously. You know who you are. Have a beautiful day. I'm so thankful for all of you tuning in. If I don't say that enough, it is an honor to serve all of you. I want the best for you. And it's truly the greatest feeling in the world to not only work hard, but know that we're providing the solution to something great, building something great. Shout out to my dad, Papa John, as well. I love you so much. It's an honor to work with you, to be your son, and to serve you as well, Papa John. I hope all of you have a wonderful day, and I'll keep you posted on the next breakout video. Again, watch the crypto charts, because just like I predicted, you should be buying more here, especially XTZ. Talk to you very soon, and God bless.